Today's video is one of those I could only record on the day. It's political, it's depressing, it concerns our illustrious leader Keir Starmer, and I despair every time I see that man on the news. Because I think, out of well over 60 million people, is that the best we've got to lead this once great nation? A man who looks like a slightly startled wax dummy, who talks like a speak and spell machine. A man who, if the balloon goes up, he's in charge of our nuclear weapons. Although, something you may not know is that if things do go nuclear, the Brits have to phone the Americans for permission to fire. But Starmer hates Britain so much, he'd get our own submarines to fire on London. Although, to be fair, if he nuked London, he wouldn't hit many British people. But no idea, never hear, free gear, maybe queer Keir yesterday held the weirdest press conference I've ever seen. What was he talking about? British foreign policy? Tax returns? Our place on the world stage? No. Our Prime Minister held a press conference to warn us about the dangers of Nigel Farage of the Reform Party. Now, given that Labour have 403 MPs and Reform UK have 5, and we are 4 fucking years from a general election, this does seem odd. The speech he gave sounds like something a PM says 2 weeks before a general election, not 4 bastard years. But what's even weirder, I'm guessing, is whoever is advising Keir Starmer. Because I think he's being told to come across as warm and personable, be a man of the people. But Starmer talks like an AI chatbot with a severe malfunction, and he's as warm and inviting as a public toilet in the depths of winter. Although apparently he may know quite a lot about public toilets. Of course I'm being flippant, I'm referring to the recent events where Keir Starmer's house got petrol bombed, not 10 Downing Street, his private residence, and then another house we didn't know he owned, and then a car which he recently sold also got torched. And I'm sure there's nothing in it that all the suspects are young Eastern European rent boys plying their trade on Grindr. Surely that's just a coincidence. So, to the press conference itself, we'll see the highlights. He warns us about Nigel Farage. He seems to mention him quite a lot.
The reason I'm speaking out today in relation to Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage. Farage. Nigel 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 Farage.
That is the leader of a terrified government. Not long ago, they took an absolute kicking at the local elections from the Reform Party, who were no one. And now they're trying to soil reform whilst also adopting their policies. It's only a couple of weeks ago that Keith Stalin gave his speech, which was anti-immigration and paraphrased Enoch Powell's Rivers of Blood speech. Widely considered one of the most racist speeches in British political history. Maybe the Labour government, the Labour government, have finally woken up and seen just how fucking hated they are. And now even the famously left-leaning mainstream media, they're going in for the kill. They are sharks sensing blood in the water. Here is a short selection of the questions asked after the press conference. This clip comes from Sky News.
Take some questions from the media. I've got a list here. Harry from the BBC first, please.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you, Prime Minister. Harry Farley from BBC News. The speed of the decline in your popularity is historically unprecedented. Isn't this speech today an admission that you have failed and Nigel Farage understands voters better than you?
Got Peter from The Guardian.
On the wider issue of the opposition you're now facing, do you think one of the problems is that Nigel Farage can approximate talking like a human being, where you just resort to talking points and dodging questions?
Chris Hope. Chris
Hope, GB News. Prime Minister, Nigel Farage has 5 MPs, you've got 403. Are you panicking because Reform is so far ahead in the polls, it seems? Is he living rent-free in your brain? You went to a state school, your dad worked in a factory, your mum worked in the NHS, so why has a public school-educated former city trader got more in common with the Red Wall than you have? The BBC,
the BBC calling a Labour Prime Minister a failure. And of course Starmer can't respond because he has no interpersonal skills. How the fuck was that man a lawyer? Then The Guardian, the wokest newspaper in Christendom, saying that he dodges questions and replies in sound bites. I've never seen anything like this. And then GB News, who are on the right, went in for the kill. Because Keir goes back to his "my father was a toolmaker" argument. Now the first thing is, a toolmaker is an extremely skilled tradesman. It shouldn't be belittled or looked down upon. Secondly, the man is a fucking liar. And I don't mind saying it now because Plod can't arrest me anymore because there's so much fucking evidence. His dad wasn't a toolmaker, he owned a factory that made tools. But Keir couldn't help himself. He said he understands working people because his dad worked 5 days a week, 10 hours a day. Yes, that's a lot of hours. But when Mrs. Disgruntled and I were saving up to get married, I was regularly pulling between 70 and 90 hours a week. Keir Starmer, you fucking dickhead. There are people who would kill to just work 50 hours a week. And things go from bad to worse for Keir Starmer, because the Attorney General, who he appointed when he took power, Richard Hermer, Lord Hermer, has given an interview where he said that people who support leaving the ECHR, the European Convention on Human Rights, the thing that stops Britain deporting foreign criminals, including drug dealers, murderers and rapists, he said people who support leaving the ECHR are the same as Nazis. So that's invoking Godwin's law. The idea that when someone on the left is losing an argument, they just say that's the sort of thing that Hitler would have done. It's lazy and it's reductive. Also, Lord Hermer, he's got previous form. When he was a lawyer, allegedly, he represented jihadis, illegal immigrants, and most famously, and this is on record, Gerry Adams. At the time, the head of Sinn Féin, the political wing of the Irish Republican Army, the banned terrorist group, the IRA. Of course, previous Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn was also very pally with Gerry Adams and Martin McGuinness, as well as Hamas and Hezbollah. What is it with the Labour Party that they're so pally with anti-British terrorist groups but want to represent Britain? Anyway, the mask has slipped. Starmer is spiralling. I honestly hope that the Labour Party hold a vote of no confidence and oust the fucker. Then we'll get Angela Rayner, and hopefully that will trigger a general election. Well, wasn't that a fun video? So that's the end of this video, short and ranty as it was. If you enjoyed it, and fuck knows why you would have done, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you could leave a like or a comment, that helps the algorithm. If you could share it, that also helps the algorithm. If you'd like to support me in making these videos, there's links in the description for Buy Me a Coffee and my Patreon. And as ever, thanks for watching. This is a short ranty video. It's political, it's depressing. I can only record it today because if you watch it next week, you may not understand. Fuck that up. The BBC, the BB fucking C, are woke, left-leaning, publicly funded broadcaster. If you're not from the UK, to watch the TV in the UK, live TV, or listen to live radio, you have to have a TV licence. We have to pay out to be given state-sponsored propaganda. Allegedly. Of course, if I was trying to get someone's house burnt down, I'd get on Grindr and get a couple of male prostitutes, sex workers. You can't say prostitute anymore. It's 2025. Fuck that up as well.